Okay, so I had a change in heart. Um, the video I did on heroin and cocaine addiction was going to be my last video for a while, but I decided uh, my last video will be this Wednesday night. I don't know, I think maybe that's like August 8th. That's going to be my last video for a while. Well, no, I'm sorry. Thursday the 9th will be my last video for this site for a while. I'm going on sabbatical, taking a break. So, I had a couple of other topics that I wanted to discuss based on conversations I've had with people. It kind of gave me ideas. This is going to be about nightmares. You know what? We've all had them. Whether it's about the monster in the closet, to if you're a recovering addict, about relapse, just whatever, you know. I mean, what's scary to one person isn't scary to another necessarily, so they're relative, right? Me personally, I mean, I have to take medication for nightmares. I've always had horrible, gory, bloody, vivid nightmares. Now they've gotten worse in the past couple of years, and I know what the cause of that is, and I share maybe one or two, one very clear nightmares that I've had, and it can give you an idea as to how gory and bloody they are. The scary part about my nightmares for me is that I feel them. I had a dream, it was a nightmare, this was a few years back, 6, 7 years ago, which was what got me put on the nightmare medication in the first place. I dreamt I somehow was in this desolate place. There was like this old rundown barn house or something. It was nighttime, no electric. I was walking through, and this female voice says over this loudspeaker, she says my name and says, "You're going to die." And the voice sounded familiar, but I wasn't totally sure, you know. But I knew by the way she said it, I was in trouble. I was trying to find my way out, and for some odd reason I couldn't. And then I heard the sound of a chainsaw, and this woman appeared with a chainsaw, and she cut my left arm off from between my elbow and my shoulder. And I'm telling you what, I felt that it hurt like hell. Watched my arm fall to the floor. I grabbed my arm with my right hand trying to stop the bleeding, and I woke up. But, it was just... The way I woke up, heart racing, I felt cold to the bone. Because I felt my arm get cut off, and I was feeling the blood loss like I was going into shock. And I went to the doctor, and I explained, how I felt that. And he told me, he said, I'm going to put you on something for that, because it's not, people have nightmares, this and that, but that's kind of extraordinary, And the medicine helped. But the problem was, I took it as prescribed for a while, and then I just said, well, I don't want to, if this medicine makes me gain weight, I don't want to take it. I've never been heavy a day in my life, and I'm not going to get heavy. So I stopped, I stopped taking it as prescribed and made it into a PRN. So it didn't totally stop the nightmares, but it stopped the frequency and the severity of them. It slowed that down by far. More recent nightmare I had, I was at this house on a regular landline talking to my boyfriend. trying to tell him where I was at so he could come pick me up. And there were a couple of people in the house, and I said, hey, what's the address here so I can, have him come get me? And they told me the address, but in the middle of me telling my boyfriend the address, the phone went dead. And I just played it off. I pretended like I was still talking, like I didn't hear the phone line get cut. And just hung up and slowly made my way to the door. But as I was making my way to the door, these people were like locking the door so I couldn't get out. Well, I did manage to get out of a window and started to run into like the woods because there was nothing really around and I didn't know where I was at. And I didn't have my cell phone on me, so when this man popped out and he had like this razor knife and he said, I gotta cut a vein so you bleed out. And he just, something with my left arm, because he gashed my left arm again. This time it was between my wrist and my elbow, but he gashed my arm so deep I felt the razor actually slice against the bone. It cut so deep through my flesh. So it was a pain that, oh God, I grabbed my arm and looked at him and I said, you're not going to see me die. And I just staggered, injured, like trying to walk up this hill, holding my arm. It's squirting out blood. And I almost made it to the top of the hill when I started to get very weak from the blood loss. I was going into shock. I don't know what it is with some of my dreams are like that where I'm going into shock and I'll wake up in the middle of that. But I was getting weak and I had to sit down and I realized I'm going to die. I'm dying, and that's when I woke up. So they're very gory and very frightening. It's one thing, some people's dreams or nightmares are like they're watching a movie or something and they just see it happening. For me, it's I'm always in it and I feel it. How would I, know what it feels like to be gashed? I guess imagination is like, one could only imagine that the pain would be astronomical, and it was. It felt that way. Felt very real. And sometimes because of those kind of nightmares, I have to get up. I wake up and I look around. And sometimes I've had to get up and walk through my place to make sure that it was just a dream, So that was recent. And in fact, that was just last night that happened. And I don't understand. Well, in a way I do, yes, actually. I've had a very traumatic life, and everybody deals with trauma differently. For me, it manifests in the form of nightmares. From childhood sexual abuse to, surviving the streets of New York to domestic violence, drug addiction, the things I've seen there. I've looked down the barrel of a pistol. I've had a knife pulled on me. I really have been in life and death situations, but, no, I've never been shot, and I've dreamt about that too. I've been shot, and I felt being shot, and never been stabbed either, but felt that, but I've definitely, I've been in situations where that was pulled on me and I was faced with this. And maybe the dreams are just manifestations of the fear that I really felt, of the anticipation of had the knife been used on me or had the gun been, had the trigger been pulled. I don't know, there's different ways to analyze or interpret those things. Depends on what you believe. I believe in dream analysis because it is the subconscious. Your thoughts come out in your subconscious through your sleep, so it's manifestation. Some people say it's a crock of shit. For me, It just tells because of the life that the things that I've been through and the life that I've led, I think, because because I do have post-traumatic stress, I've never, when I was in those situations, like when a knife was pulled on me or I looked down the barrel of a pistol and stuff, I never really showed my fear. And I believe in the dreams, all those fears, everything, it comes out. It's all the feelings. It's all part of post-traumatic stress dynamic. So, so for that, I mean, I think about somebody like the Vietnam veteran or somebody who survived the Korean War, the kind of nightmares that they had, actually, almost having a bayonet pushed through them, being shish kebabbed and things, I get it because, I've been in danger and, thought this and that and I guess really it's just, all the years of pushing it down. Not allowing myself to show or feel the fear, because when you feel the fear, you show it in a situation like that, it can sometimes compromise your well-being, and you have to go into autopilot. It's fight or flight for survival. Psychological research, anybody familiar with psychology knows about the fight or flight theory. And, and some I've had the fight, some I've had the flight. So I've done both. But in terms of feeling, it's afterward, or never truly feeling like, wow. But when I sit and I look back, I think, wow, I survived this, I survived that, it's no wonder, And then I wake up and I realize that I'm safe and I'm with somebody that is safe and, is nothing like that. Brings it all back into perspective, I don't let my nightmares affect my day. I'm not going to let that stuff take, because it is just a manifestation of unresolved feelings of whatever it was that I felt, whatever I went through. It's symbolic of something that I survived, that I thought I was going to die from. It's just my post-traumatic stress. And so, but there's varying reasons for nightmares for people. The night terrors for children. It sucks. And anybody watching this who's had nightmares as vivid and as gory and as frightening as that, knows what the hell, I'm talking about here. I mean, you're almost afraid to go back to sleep because there were times where I've gone back to sleep and the nightmare picked up right where it left off before I woke up. It's like, oh, you're back. Let's continue with the story, horrible, And I say that jokingly, but for real, during the night when all is quiet and dark, it really sucks. It really sucks. I've had to, wake my boyfriend up and be like, just hold me, Like, okay, I'm like, I will be. Just, hold me for a bit. And thank God. Thank God I don't have to go through that stuff alone anymore. Thank God. I mean, it's all up here, but thank God.